Hey guys, George here. Welcome back to Tales from the Vault. These are judicial cases, stories, and articles that have shaped our world. Up next, we have India's Salt March during the 1930s. And I'm going to tell you why this has made my list of events that shaped our world. Let's get into it. So, India's Salt March of 1930. This was a protest against British colonialism or British rule in India. Britain had an act. It was called the Briton Salt Act of 1882. This prohibited Indians from collecting, making, or selling salt. British companies had a monopoly over salt, over the manufacturing of and the selling of salt. Not only could you not make it, you had to buy it from them and you had to pay the increased tax. So India decided to stage a protest for this. They pretty much had enough. So as you can understand, salt back then was like liquid gold. Everyone used it, every country, every province, everyone. Salt goes into food. It keeps the food, it flavors the food. Try making your next meal without salt. That's a tough eat. That's a tough eat. Salt is everything. So how the march began, there was a lawyer that was from India, but he was a lawyer in South Africa. He decided to go back to India to lead this march. So it was a lawyer turned activist, and that person's name was Mohandas Gandhi. His followers called him Mahatma, which stand for great soul. So Gandhi decided to come up with an ingenious idea. This ingenious idea was called Satyagraha, and it's a non-violent mass civil disobedience. This was huge. Just think about it. So how do you fight an oppressor, or how do you fight someone with a bigger gun? You don't bring a gun to the fight. Literally, you either have to be very strategic or you don't bring a gun to the fight. And that's what he did. So Gandhi and his followers marched down to the sea to make their own salt out of seawater. They were there for weeks on months making salt. And Gandhi, once salt crystals have crystallized, Gandhi reached down to pick up one crystallized salt. And at that moment, he defied British law. Even after his death, it sparked this movement from India to defy British rule in its entirety. Fast forward 10 years later, India wins their independence from Britain. The reason this story is huge for us, or if you haven't picked up on it yet, is that Gandhi and this Salt March laid the blueprint for Martin Luther King and all the civil rights leaders, not only here in the U.S., but around the world, on how to fight oppression. This led to the marches in Selma, in Mississippi, Alabama, and across the South and across the United States. And this was the blueprint. Okay. So this is a huge catalyst in the transformation that shaped our world, which is why it makes my list. This is India's Salt March of 1930. So I hope you enjoyed it. See you on the next.